Hello students, welcome to PS class.
Next we will discuss about functional group. What do you mean by functional group? An atom or group of atoms in a molecule which is responsible for the characteristics chemical properties of the organic compound is only functional group. Suppose if I write alcohol, the functional group of alcohol is OH. Similarly, functional group of aldehyde is CHO. Similarly, functional group of carboxylic acid is COH. Now if I write ethyl alcohol, methyl alcohol, propyl alcohol, butyl alcohol, every series of alcohol, there is presence of only one functional group, that is your OH. So this functional group is responsible for all the chemical properties or gastric properties of the compounds, alcohol compounds. This is responsible for all the properties of the compound. Okay, so that is why it is only functional group. Now similarly, what is homologous series? Homologous series means the all compounds with same functional group belonging to the same class of family is known as homologous series. That means, see here, if I will take one example, suppose if I take example of alkanes, two examples will take alkanes. Okay, now what is the general formula of alkane? CnH2n plus 2. Okay, so if n equals to 1, the first member is your what? CH4. If n equals to 2, second member is C2H6. If n is equals to 3, third member is C3H8. So in this way we will proceed. Now see here, in between this compound in each adjacent member there is a difference of CH2 group. Again in between these two there is a difference of CH2 group. Now this group is known as your what? Methylene group. This group is known as your methylene group. So that means what is homologous series? All compounds with same functional group. In alkanes there is no functional group. If I will take another example, see here, suppose if I will take alkenes. In alkene and alkyne there is presence of double bond and triple bond. Suppose if I will take example of alkenes, right, where the general formula is your CnH2n, right. So when n equals to 1, first member is, so another thing, remember, in alkenes means what? In alkenes there is single bond, but in alkenes double bond. Double bond always present between two carbon atoms, because here it is possible one carbon is attached to 4 hydrogens, another carbon is not required here. One carbon atom member is possible, but here to write a double bond between minimum 2 carbon atoms are required. So if I will write n equals to 2, the first member is C2H4. If n is equals to 3, it is C3H6. If n is equals to 4, it is your C4H8. Okay, now see, in each member, okay, in each adjacent member again there is a difference of CH2 group. Here also there is a difference of CH2 group. That means the successive members of a homologous series differ by a CH2 group. Okay, this group is known as methylene group. This is known as methylene group. Okay, or you can say that in carbon the atomic mass is 12 and 2 hydrogen 2, so total the adjacent members differ by a 14 mass unit. Okay, 14 mass unit. So if you will see the definition, what is the definition? All compounds with same molecule, same functional group. Suppose if you will take double bond, there is a presence of double bond in every cases. So with the same functional group, belongs to the same class or family is known as homologous series, and each successive member of a homologous series differ by a methylene group, that is CH2, and that means they differ by a 14 mass unit. Okay, now next we will discuss another important points before going to the IPC nomenclature. Okay, what are the types of carbon atoms? Okay, now types of carbon atoms. See here, this is a compound where we have to identify how many primary carbon, how many secondary carbon, how many tertiary carbon, and how many quaternary carbon atoms are there. So first of all, if one carbon is attached to another carbon atom by one side, or no other carbon atom in any side, is known as your primary carbon atom. So see here all this is a CH, the CH3 carbon is attached to another carbon by in one side. Okay, So all the CH3 carbons here are known as primary carbon atoms. Okay, so this is known as primary carbon, or I can write 1 degree. Similarly, here another primary carbon, here another primary carbon, here also another primary carbon, and here also another primary carbon. So all total, how many primary carbon atoms are there, or 1 degree carbon atoms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total number of carbon atom is 5. Okay. Similarly, secondary carbon atom. If one carbon atom is attached to two other carbon atoms from in the two sides, then that is known as secondary carbon atom. That means CH2 carbon atoms are known as secondary carbon atom. So if I will write the secondary, identifies the secondary carbon atom. This is secondary carbon, CH2, and here also another CH2 secondary carbon atom is there. Okay. So all total, how many secondary carbon atoms are there? The secondary carbon is 2. Similarly, in tertiary carbon atom, how many tertiary carbon atoms are there? If a carbon is attached to other carbon atoms in 3 sides, then that is a tertiary carbon. This is 1, 2, 3. 3 sides, 3 carbon atoms. So CH carbons are known as tertiary carbon. Here there is no other tertiary carbon atoms are there. So only one tertiary carbon atom is there. That is your 1. Similarly, if a carbon is attached to other carbon atoms in all the 4 sides, then that is known as quaternary carbon atom. So in 4 degree carbon atom, there is only 1 is there. Okay. So quaternary carbon atom is your 1. Now next is types of hydrogen atoms. Okay. Now which atoms are, which are known as your primary hydrogen, secondary hydrogen, tertiary hydrogen atom. Now listen, the hydrogen which are attached to the primary carbon is known as your primary hydrogen. Similarly, the hydrogen attached to secondary carbon is your secondary hydrogen, tertiary carbon is tertiary hydrogen. So see here primary hydrogen atom. So count here how many primary carbon atoms are there. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. If 5 primary carbon atoms are there, and to each primary carbon of 3 hydrogen atoms are there, that means all total 15 primary hydrogen atoms are there. 3, 3, 6, 3, 9, 3, 12, 3, 15. So all total the primary hydrogen atom is your 15. Similarly, how many secondary hydrogen atoms are there? In how many secondary carbon atoms are there? 1 and 2, 2 secondary carbon atoms. So to each secondary carbon atom, there are 2 hydrogen attached, 2 and 2, 4 hydrogen. So in secondary hydrogen, the total is 4. Similarly, tertiary, how many tertiary carbon atom? 1 tertiary carbon atom means 1 hydrogen is attached to it. So tertiary carbon atom is 1. Now another important point is how many quaternary hydrogen atoms are there. See here in the quaternary carbon, those carbon atom, the carbon atom which attached to other carbon atoms in 4 sides are known as quaternary carbon. That means to the quaternary carbon there is no hydrogen is attached. So quaternary hydrogen is not possible. Quaternary hydrogen atom is not possible. Okay, or you can write there is 0 quaternary hydrogen atom, because already we know that quaternary carbon only 4 sides the carbon is attached, means there is no hydrogen attached. That means quaternary hydrogen atom is not possible. Okay. Now next we will discuss some of the common prefixes like N. N represents normal. What is normal? It is used for straight chain. Suppose for example if I write a straight chain like this, CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. So this is a straight chain having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms. So what is the name of this compound? This is known as N-pentane. N-pentane. So N stands for normal here. Okay. Similarly, another prefix is that is known as iso. Iso means how we can know where we have used the term iso. See here, it is used for those alkanes in which CH3 group is attached to second last carbon in the straight chain. Second last carbon on the straight chain. See here one example. Second last carbon in the straight chain. If I will write the chain like this, okay, and this one is the second, here one CH3 is attached. Okay, now you satisfied this. This is CH3, CH, CH3. Okay. That here this is one example. You can write these examples also. compounds. Okay, these are the two compounds. Now see the definition. It is used for those alkanes. आइसो हम कहाँ पे लिखेंगे, जहाँ पे कि आपका CH3 group अटैच होगा second last carbon in the straight chain. If this one is a straight chain, okay, and this one is your second carbon atom, 1 2 3, second carbon atom to the CH3 group is attached to the second last carbon in the straight chain, second last carbon in the straight chain. Here also if I write second last carbon means 1 2 3 4, this is your second last carbon, CH3 is attached. So this is the iso. So how many carbon atoms are, these are the common names. So how many carbon atoms are there? 4 carbons. So I will write the name is isobutane. Similarly here how many carbon atoms are there? 1 2 3 4 5, all total 5 carbon atoms are there. So the name is isopentane. Okay, this is isobutane, this is isopentane. Similarly another prefix is known as neo. So what is the prefix neo? Neo means it is used for those alkanes in which, अच्छा यहाँ पे देखो, यहाँ पे 1 CH3 group attached लिखा था, यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? 2 CH3 groups are attached to the second last carbon in a straight chain. So draw an example. Suppose see here, if I write the compound 1 2 3, 2 CH3 groups are attached. Another example is, see, now satisfy this 3 2. See here, if this one is your 1 2 3 carbon, to the second carbon atom 2 CH3 groups are attached, second last carbon. Here also to the second last carbon 1 2 3 4, 2 CH3 groups are attached. So here the prefix comes neo. So how many on total, how many carbon atoms are there? 5 carbon atom. So I'll write the name as neopentane. Neopentane. Okay. Similarly, see here, this is a compound where here also the prefix comes neo, but how many carbon atoms are there? Total 4, it was 6. So this is known as neohexane. Neohexane. Okay. Now next we will discuss about the alpha carbon, beta carbon. Which carbons are known as alpha carbon, which carbons are known as beta carbons? Okay, see here, the carbon which is directly attached to the functional group, whatever may be the functional group, that may be an alcohol, that may be aldehyde, that may be ketone, that may be acid. If first of all you will identify the functional group, this is our functional group here, aldehyde functional group. So the carbon which is directly attached to the functional group is known as your alpha carbon, and the carbon which is attached to the alpha carbon is known as your beta carbon. So in this compound, how many alpha carbons are there? Means 1 alpha carbon and 1 beta carbon. And how many alpha hydrogens are there? Means the hydrogen attached to the alpha carbon is known as alpha hydrogen, and the hydrogen attached to beta carbon is known as beta hydrogen. So in this compound 1 alpha carbon, in this compound 1 alpha carbon, and how many alpha hydrogen? 2 alpha hydrogen atom is there. 2 alpha hydrogen atom. 1 alpha carbon, in this compound 1 alpha carbon and 2 alpha hydrogen. Similarly, how many beta carbon atoms are there here? 1 beta carbon atom is there. 1 beta carbon atom is there, and 2 beta carbon, 3 hydrogens are attached. So 3 beta hydrogens are attached. Okay. Similarly, see here, this is a functional group, COOH. This is the acid. This total is your acid functional group. Okay. To this carbon attached, there is another carbon, that is your alpha carbon. So here the carbon is, alpha carbon is only 1 alpha carbon. Okay. And to this alpha carbon, how many hydrogens are there? 3 alpha hydrogens are there. 3 alpha hydrogens are there. Okay. And there is no beta carbon. Now next is this compound. Here in this compound, to the middle carbon atom there is attachment of chloro group. So here this one is your functional group. So the carbon which is attached to the chloro is directly to alpha carbon, and to the alpha carbon this side 1 beta carbon, to the alpha carbon this side another beta carbon. Okay. So here in this case, how many carbon atoms are there? There are 1 alpha carbon, and how many alpha hydrogen? 1 alpha hydrogen. And how many beta carbons are there? 2 beta carbons are there. And how many beta hydrogens are there? 6 beta hydrogens are there. Okay. Next is this compound. Here the functional group is your keto-functional group. This one is your functional group. So to the functional group directly attached to the carbon is your alpha carbon. So this one is alpha carbon, you can treat this one is your alpha carbon, and to the alpha carbon there is attachment of beta carbon. So all total how many alpha and beta carbons and hydrogens are there? All total there is 2 alpha carbon, and how many alpha hydrogen? 3 to 5, 5 alpha hydrogens. Similarly, how many beta carbon? There is 1 beta carbon and 3 beta hydrogens are there. Okay, and now this compound, this is only formaldehyde. Now see here, this one is your functional group. Now one important point is, here to this functional group there is no carbon is attached, only hydrogen is attached. So if there is no carbon means there is no alpha carbon. If no alpha carbon means there is no alpha hydrogen. This hydrogen cannot be treated as alpha hydrogen, because we know that those hydrogens which are directly attached to the alpha carbon is only your alpha hydrogen. The hydrogen which is directly functional group is not the alpha hydrogen atom. That means here in this compound there is no alpha carbon and no alpha hydrogen. Alpha carbon भी नहीं है and alpha hydrogen